Like,
so
why they pay more to teach?
Right. So the answer is verse 15. Read 15 again.
Not setting by the honors of the fathers, but liking the Grecians best of all.
So the glory of the Grecians were more preferred than the glory of our forefathers. The glory of our forefathers was dealing with the laws, statutes, and commandments, us having judgment over our people. All right, we set up officers. Our people had to be doctors. Our people had to be gynecologists and all of that stuff because we had to make judgment calls on stuff like that. All right, when we had to make a judgment call, or if a woman was raped and all of that stuff, our men and our women had to know the health causes and all of that stuff, right? So this was now pushed to the back burner, and during the time of the Greeks, the stadiums and the gymnasiums, that was pushed to the forefront now, and that became a more important thing. That's what I was saying to them earlier. It's not a sin to play sports. That's not what I'm getting at. It's not a sin to play sports. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong.
It's more sinful that people care about sports than actually like the doctors.
I got you.
Exactly. That it's wrong that people care more about sports than what people care about saving other people's lives.
Yeah.
You understand? And that was the key to what I was bringing out with this scripture. But now we're going to go a little bit more deeper into it now. All right? Read on. Shalom,
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose customs they followed so earnestly.
Read verse 17. And read a little bit louder because we on the live stream now, so we want to make sure people hear you.
For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of God, but the time following shall declare these things.
Read on.
Now in the game that was used every fifth year was kept at Tyrus.
So now the Greeks, they had a game that they would have only once every 5 years.
The Olympics.
The what?
Olympics.
The Olympics. How often do we have the Olympics?
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years. All right. So is it far-fetched? We dealing with the same thing right now. All right. So they had the Olympics every 5 years. Today we have the Olympics every 4 years. Right. Read on. And this year it was kept in Tyrus, showing you that every time it was kept somewhere different. Yeah, Brother Bus is behind earlier today. We had some good laughs. Yeah. It was his chair.
You missed it.
Right. But to go back to it, it said and was kept in Tyrus. This year was kept in Tyrus. So that means every 5 years the Olympics was kept somewhere different. Right now in today's society, every 4 years the Olympics is kept somewhere different in a different country. Like the last place the Olympics was kept at, where was it? Brazil, right?
No,
it was where?
It was Rio.
That's Brazil. Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah. Right? And they said that they had made this big wall over the highways because they didn't want the people who was going to go see the Olympics to see the indigenous people and how poor they was living over there in Brazil. And then something happened, like a storm or something like that, and one of the panels from the wall fell down, and then they saw how impoverished the people was over there. So here it is, you having this big grand event, a worldwide event. All right, spending all of this money, and you got the people there dead broke, poor, living like they're in a third world country, right? So that's the society we live in. A society where the sports stadiums and being an entertainer is more important than the other things. Because I asked the young brothers earlier before y'all came, I said, what type of jobs do y'all think is important that a society should have? So they said police officers, doctors, lawyers. They had some good answers. You understand? So then I asked them after that. He said, me. I said, they all had some good answers. He said, judges, yeah. So I asked them, do you think it's fair that sports entertainers get paid more than all of these positions that y'all just talked about, right? But we're going to keep reading.
Yeah.
Read on.
I can see the words.
All right. Man, you got to get your eyes checked, yo. Don't be ashamed to wear glasses. Ain't nothing wrong with glasses, bro.
You can just
Context will get pretty good.
Skip down to verse 22, young man. Read a little bit strong so the people can hear you.
Where he was honorable received of Jason and of the city, and was brought in with torchlight.
With a what?
With a torchlight.
So it said, where he was honorably received of Jason and of the city, and was brought in with a torch light. So when he was coming in, he had to hold a torch. Don't they do that for the Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
We're reading about where it come from right now.
How it all began.
How it began. This is where it come from. All right. Read on.
And with great shoutings, and so afterward went with his host unto Phoenix.
But and with great shoutings, meaning everybody cheered him on as he ran in with this torchlight. So in this society, like we read in verse 15, the laws of God and the important matters.
Trying not to get on the law. Nah, pay attention.
It's the brother that be teaching that camp. I'm messing with y'all. But in this society, y'all see that the sports life was far more important for them. You understand? So now y'all gotta make sure, because now y'all play sports and y'all doing sports in school and all of that stuff. And this is the reason why I asked y'all about how do y'all feel about these things. Y'all gotta make sure that y'all put the Most High first and above before that. Because at the end of the day, if you put the Most High first, if the Most High want to, he could bless you with that. Mm-hmm. He could really bless you with it. You got some entertainers now today starting to learn the truth and everything. And they already been blessed to be actors, entertainers, and all of this other stuff. And now they're learning the truth. So if the Most High wanted, he could bless you with those things. But he's not going to bless you with it if you don't put him first. Go to the book of Matthew, chapter 6.
Matthew's in the Bible.
New Testament.
6 and what?
6 and 33.
New Testament.
And D, I want you to read that for me, all right?
But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you.
And what?
All things shall be added unto you.
So he said, all things shall be added unto you. But in order for you to get that, you got to do what? You got to seek the Most High first, no matter what it is you're doing. You might be going to school to be an engineer, a technician, electrician, a plumber, a sports player, a singer, a rapper, a dancer, whatever it may be, whatever your goal is in life. The Lord is saying, seek him first, and then all those things shall be added unto you. All right? It was Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. Yeah, but we about to read verse 19 now. D, read that for me.
Lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal.
So it say, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. You know what that means? That means that the treasures that you chasing, like, because everybody chasing the dollar, everybody chasing the paper. You understand? So it's talking about you can't chase a dollar, because you could get the dollar and guess what? You'll lose it. Quick as you get it, quicker you spend it. Somebody could rob you, steal it from you. All right? Like, for example, right? We just got finished, not us, but the world just got finished dealing with Christmas. How many people just spent money on Christmas gifts or saved money up for Christmas and got robbed this season? Think about that. A lot of people. So you worked hard, did overtime, worked 2-3 jobs for you to be going home one day and then somebody just roll up on you, give me the loot. Right? Quick as it come, quick as it go. Right? Read on.
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor dust corrupt, where these do not break through nor steal.
So it's saying instead of trying to save bank on money, right? You could save bank on the Most High. Now, how do you save bank on the Most High? How do you lay up treasure for the Most High?
You put money aside, give money to it.
You could give money to the Most High, but how do you give money to the Most High, though? I just want to know.
Following His commandment, that's the money for Him.
Okay, you can follow His commandments. That's saving up treasure for the Most High. But you said money, so I wanted to know, what do you mean by saving up money for the Most High, giving money to the Most High?
The money for Him is like you follow what He tells you to do.
It's
That's like His bread and butter. Like our bread and butter would be having money to feed our family and stuff. His bread and butter is you can follow what He tells you to do. So like at the end of the day, that's like the money for Him.
All right, Bucky, what you think? Oh, you took the words out your mouth? All right, guys, what about you?
It's the same thing, but that's all.
All right, D, what about you?
Tithes and all.
Tithes and offerings? Okay, all right, now I'm gonna challenge you a little bit. How is tithes and offerings saving up treasures towards the kingdom of heaven? Like, can you pay your way to the kingdom of heaven? Like, the more tithes I get, the more money I'm going to get in the kingdom?
No. Command sin.
So what you mean, Dave?
If you're using the money to put back into the church, then that's the way of building up treasures from.
Okay. What about you, Yaakov?
Building money and having money for the Most High, putting in work.
Putting in work. That's what I'm talking about. What kind of work?
Spiritual work, like hitting these streets, passing out these flyers, talking to the brothers, bringing in fruit. You know what I'm saying? But also, it's also a financial thing as well. You know what I'm saying? Like paying your tithes. You know what I'm saying?
So how is, I'm gonna challenge you, how is paying tithes contributing to laying up treasures for the kingdom of heaven?
Because when you paying tithes at your temple supposed to be doing the right thing with the money, which goes to following the laws of the Most High.
So what should the temple be doing with the tithes money?
Doing things to follow the laws of the Most High, like the Passover come around, they should be buying the land and everything like that. Things that we need to do in order to follow the law, and also be helping the community. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, you know what I'm saying? The community of the congregation. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's my thoughts.
That's your thoughts on it?
Yeah.
All right, hold on real quick. I want to make sure I got the right scripture. I mean, Yaakov, you should notice that I'm going to challenge you more so than anybody else in this room right now. So you should know this. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 14.
Let me see that Bible out.
Verse 22. Deuteronomy 14 and 22. Oh, so you got the tacos, but you don't got a Bible? Oh, man, you about to get rich.
I got my Bible.
Gotta get the spiritual food, brother. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22.
Amen.
Read it.
Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed.
Right. So when it's talking about tithing here, it's talking about everything you grow. Everything you grow, right? Read on.
That the field bringeth forth year by year.
Right, which tithes means 10%. So now if you growing collard greens, cabbage, all of that stuff, whatever, corn, whatever it is, you got to get 10% of your crops to the priest of the Lord. All right. Now, some people might say, see, it's not money, but you got to understand we're not farming people today. So how's the priest of the Lord going to do the work of the Most High without being able to eat?
Yeah.
All right. This was money. This is the real money. The things that you could get with money. Read on.
Verse 23. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there.
Now that place is talking about the temple. When we was in the wilderness, we didn't have a temple. So now the Lord would send a chariot out and say, look, here I want you to have the tabernacle. And this is where y'all going to have worship. And then maybe a week later or the next high holy day, the Lord said, all right, I don't want y'all to do it here. I want you to do it over here. So now when in today's time where it says the place where the Lord put his name, the place where you congregating at, the place where the Spirit of the Lord is convicting you at, to follow his law, statutes, and commandments, that's where you bring your tithes to. Read on.
The tithes of thy corn and of thy wine and of thy oil and the firstling of thy herbs and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
Read on.
Continue. And if the way be too long for thee,
right? Meaning if Jerusalem is too far for you, right? Or maybe you could even live in a whole nother state, but you like, man, I like congregating with one nation and one nation only. I don't want to go nowhere else. So every high holy day, I'm going back to Jersey, right? So the Bible says if your tithes if it's too far for you to go there to pay your tithes, you should. Read on.
So that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money and bind up the money in thy hand.
So wait, tithes could be money also, right?
Exactly.
All right, read on.
Let me know
And
how
shall
that
go
tastes.
into the place which the Lord thy God shall choose.
Read on.
And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for ox, for sheep, or for
Here goes
wine,
nothing.
or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desire.
Read on.
And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice thou and thy household.
Now watch this. Now all of that tithes, right? You spend money to have a celebration and eat, wine and dine, but now it's about to tell you with who. Read on. 27.
And the Levite that is within thy gates.
So meaning you do this with the priest. The tithes go to the priest. Read on.
Thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee.
Because he's not getting any other form of money. Read on.
At the end of the 3
Read
years,
verse 29.
verse 29. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, in the stranger, in the fatherless, in the widow.
So the fatherless, the widows. All right. So now you're talking about single mothers, orphan children, people who don't have nobody. Read on.
Which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied.
They shall come and what?
Eat and be satisfied.
They shall what?
Eat and be satisfied.
So that's who the tithes go to. When you give your tithes to the place where the Lord's name is, those people use that money to provide for the widows, the orphans, the homeless. All right. And they provide for those people so that they can have food and drink to eat, because just like them, the priests don't got no money. The only money they getting is based off of the tithes, but the priests don't keep that for themselves. That is shared amongst the priests and the homeless and the widows and the orphan kids. That's how you store up treasures in heaven, by doing good works. The good works you do is being taken down and it's being noted by the Most High God. All right. And now when your day of judgment comes, the Most High is going to look at your works and reward you according to your works. You understand? The more work you put in for the Most High, the better the reward going to be. All right.
I said amen.
You say amen. All right, good. Amen.
Hey.
All right.
Matthew 7:21. What you're saying too.
Right. Let's go there real quick. Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. So like, for example, sometimes like we haven't done this since last Purim, but Yaakov, share your experience with Purim. What did we do on Purim?
Oh, on Purim, we come together, we give gifts, and we also feed the homeless. You know what I'm saying? That's our day to share with each other gifts, but it's also a day that we all remember what happened during that time in the old time. During the old time, remember that was actually one of the first what was it?
Fool?
What is it called?
Fool?
One of the first purges. Remember around Purim, you know,
The first purge.
Yeah, the first purge when they tried to like basically annihilate us. You know what I'm saying? And
which when they try to annihilate us, the first people they're gonna go after is who? The homeless.
Yeah.
The people who can't defend themselves. The first person you go to ain't gonna be the dude that got 2 Glocks in their house waiting.
Yeah,
You're not gonna go after that person first. You gonna go after the dude that's sleeping in the cardboard box. Yeah, I'm gonna go kill him.
Yeah, because even when you used to feed the homeless with the other brother, it took how one of them used to stay watching guard because they used to rape the women. And
Right.
beat up
All
the
right, now
homeless
I gotta share this story, right? So there was another brother back from the body of Christ. You remember Malak?
Yeah.
We used to go out, feed the homeless, drive around middle of the night, find people, whatever, right? Now there was this dude that we met. Now initially I didn't even want to feed him because dude looked thorough. He was just standing in the corner like this, whatever. And I looked at him, and Malak looked at him. Malak like, let's go feed him. And I said, nah, man, he ain't homeless. And he drove over there anyway. I'm like, all right, we go over there. So I asked the brother. I said, brother, do you need something to eat? And he looked at me real thorough. And he's like, if you feed me, you got to feed all of us. So I said, all right, well, we got enough food for people. So he's like, hey, yo, massive homeless people start coming out of nowhere, whatever, right? This dude waited until everybody ate. He was the last one to eat a plate. He ain't even want to eat till everybody ate.
A question from the audience.
Hold on, let me finish this.
When you get a second.
Yeah. So long story short, whatever, the brother explained to us the reason why he was thorough like that was because people was coming by in the middle of the night with bats, beating the homeless up and raping the women. So it was him and another brother who he just so happened to be Muslim. They was taking turns at night watching over the women and the defenseless, watching over them. So we ended up baptizing the brother the next morning and we brought him into the fold. You know what I'm saying? But what was the question on the live?
The question of the live wasn't it the temple being made and during Purim? I guess that's what she meant to say. Was
it the temple being made during Purim? Initially, we wasn't really talking about the temple per se. During that time, in the time of Purim, that was also during the time of Nehemiah. You read about Nehemiah and Mordecai together being at camp. And I remember reading the book of Nehemiah, he was actually petitioning for the temple to be made. So yes, to answer your question, the temple was being made and our people was being restored. We was just coming out of the Persian captivity, but not necessarily during Purim, but it is around the same time era though. Right. So do anybody got any questions? So before us to go into anything, you know? No questions. Anybody got anything they went through this week that they would like me to touch on? Even on the live stream.
Yeah. Any questions? Anybody in the live stream that would like to ask for the class? Well, the only thing that I could think about is I was actually reading Proverbs. The only thing that I could touch on is chapter 8. Pretty much, the beginning of wisdom.
I think.
But that's a lot. Here, let me see. No. Thank you.
Shalom, sister.
All right. Remember, it has the latest.
I know that sister. She be posting some funny stuff too. Some crazy things.
As a matter of fact, well, why don't we go into Purim then?
Yeah, Purim is coming up.
And the meaning of basically that, since we already started touching on that.
Okay. All right.
It's a good one. She killed.
Right. So and it's kind of like along the lines of the topic as well. But hold on, I just remembered too. I wanted to bring out another scripture. Before we go there, go to Deuteronomy 24:14 real quick. Before we go into that. Because we always say when we teach people that we're Israelites, because for example, like how old are you?
16.
How old are you? You 18? Wow, you look real young. How old are you? 17. See, that's why y'all two be battling so much, right? So y'all young men, and when people ask like what's your nationality or what's your race or where you from, and if you say Israel, people going to challenge you on it because when they think of Israel, they going to think of what? White Jewish people or Arabs or something like that, right? So people will challenge you on it. You know, even you, how old are you?
No.
You 17. So yeah, you look real young too, you know. But you know, that's that age. But people are going to challenge you guys on it. And you got to know how to explain yourself. And the reason why we say that we're Israelites is because we found out that by prophecy, we're going through these curses. And if we're under these curses because we broke the commandments, how do we break free from these curses? How do we break free from these curses?
By doing the commandments.
By following the commandments. So this is not just about coming over here just to hear. You know, for right now, it might seem like that because y'all come on the Sabbath every now and then. Y'all like the words that's being brought out, but you got to understand that even though you like the words, that's not enough. You got to take those words, you got to keep them in your mind, and you got to find a way to keep your integrity and be somebody else different in the world. Because guess what? The world got a preconceived thought of who you are already. They already determined your personality and your character and everything about you just based off of your hair, the way you dress, and your skin color. You understand? So now you got to show people that you're different. So I just wanted to read a law real quick that's kind of in line of what we're talking about to show this is what we are about. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 14. Somebody D, read that. All right.
Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not oppress.
Read a little bit stronger.
Thou shalt not oppress and hire servant that is poor.
So it says, thou shalt not oppress a higher servant that is poor. Like for example, when we see the poor of our people out here, helping them isn't just giving them 50 cents or $1. That's not helping them. All right. If you give somebody a fish because they're hungry, you feed them for one day. If you teach somebody how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. So sometimes they just need opportunity. You understand? I've seen people who own barbershops, instead of giving them money, they say, yo, come over here, sweep up the hair. Every day you come over here, do a little bit of work, we'll pay you something. You can help out the homeless by doing things like that.
You know what? I also seen a homeless guy get like a person give him a haircut. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And give him a haircut, and it's like a whole life changing movement for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Because you never know. A haircut does a lot to a person,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the society that we live in.
Gun.
I know I'm the worst. What you mean?
Here, I will explain it. Read on now.
When you look good, you feel good.
Exactly. Yeah, and also
and people
image mean everything in this society. You can even get a job just having a nice cut, looking fresh and clean, you know?
Yeah.
Right? Read on.
Oh.
Verse 14 again.
Whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates.
Right. We're not going to discriminate either when it comes to charity as well. You understand? We're about helping our people first. All right. But anybody that needs help, we'll still help them. But the priority should always be
Our people.
Right? Read on.
At his day, thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down.
It was verse 16 I was really thinking about. Read that.
The father shall not be put to death.
Salakia. 17.
Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of thy stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge.
Right. So now it says you should not pervert the judgment of the fatherless, the strangers, right, or a widow. These are all defenseless people. Strangers don't have no place to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Widows don't have no man to defend them. You ever notice, like, car dealerships? I see it a lot.
Yeah.
Young woman come, all right? Not even a young woman, just a woman, period. You see she's single, don't know nothing about cars. Or let's deal with the orphans. A young man,
Yeah.
don't know nothing about anything. Go to a dealership, they go, we got the perfect car for you.
They get rid of
And they give you the lemon. They give you the worst car in there.
Yeah.
This is the perfect car for you. You just now starting college, young man. It'll take you back and forth. They ain't telling you the radiator messed up, the pump messed up. You understand? They done sold this lady a messed up car. You understand? She ain't got no man with her. But if you notice, when you have somebody with you, you know what I'm saying? An older man with you, acting as a father, acting as a husband. You understand? And he knows his stuff. People like, oh man, this guy gonna challenge me because he ain't afraid. I ain't gonna be able to intimidate him.
He telling me he lift the hood.
Yeah, you know, right.
Yeah.
So you can't intimidate them. So then they tend to be a little bit more fair with you. That's what the scripture is talking about. It's the helpless people that need the most help. You understand? So now after we get ourselves right, we're going to have to go out there and do what? Help our people get right. All right? So now to get into the topic of Purim. Yaakov, you up? Tell them about Purim.
I thought I did already. But yeah, I thought I did. But
start with what book is Purim in? So let's start with that.
What book is?
What's the name of the book?
What book could we read about Purim?
Oh,
You said, ooh. Oh, my goodness.
Hold on.
Beat it.
Hold on,
He said.
hold on.
Move. Go.
Persians, Esther.
There you go. So everybody go to
It
the
took
book
you
of
too
Esther.
long, brother.
All right, I got it.
Everybody go to the book of Esther.
All right, come.
Had to channel it for a minute.
Rewind that thought.
And read chapter 1, verse 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Now it came to pass in the days of what is it? Osiris.
Arxus.
Arxus?
Osirus.
Sorry. Osiris. This is Osiris,
Which
reigned from India even unto Ethiopia.
So now this king, which Indian people, right? These are the Elamites that you read about in the Bible. This Indian or Persian ruled. His kingdom was from India all the way into Ethiopia, meaning he ruled all of the Middle East and even parts of Africa. That's how great his kingdom was. The Bible is about telling you the future, past, present, and future. You're going to find out every nation on the face of the earth, except for us, had a chance to rule the whole world.
Come.
People see infomercials of starving Ethiopians and they feel so bad for them, but you don't know that those starving Ethiopians at one point had you in slavery.
Come.
Those starving Ethiopians used to be the ones ruling the Middle East. All right? And they ruled all of Arabia too. The empire of Kush. So you don't look at the present state of what a lot of these people are in today, because their present state doesn't represent them as a whole. At one point, all nations ruled the whole earth at one point, the known world.
Mm-hmm.
All nations had the chance to rule the known world. Read on.
Over 107 and 20 provinces.
Mm-hmm.
That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus,
You saying it broken apart?
Yeah.
Just going.
Sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was Shushan, the palace.
Uh-huh.
In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, and the power of Persia and Media, the nobles.
All right, so I'm gonna see who remember what was taught in the Sabbath lesson. Who could tell me who's the Medes? What type of people are the Medes? Or what type of people is related to them? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Greeks are related to them, the original Greeks. Go on, what you said?
Asians. I said that too.
Right, not all Asians,
The original Asians.
but people who have Oriental features, right? All right, remember that. Never say all Asians because all Asians are not the same. Yeah.
Was it Russia?
All right.
Yeah, Russia.
Yeah, I told you
Originally.
Mongolia.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Magog.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to make sure y'all know what type of people are related because these people like Sumatra, remember I was reading about Sumatra? They land is right next to India.
Wow.
All right. Javan, they have an island right next to India in the Arabian Ocean. All right. So it's good to look at maps and understand the locations of these places because then you'll understand why certain nations was able to click and link up so well. So now the Persians and the Medes were two different type of people, but they had a kingdom together. All right. Read verse 3 again, then read 7.
Says, verse 3. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of provinces, being before him.
Right. So part of the reason why I asked y'all if y'all know who's the Medes because some people think like they'll look at like Hawaiians, Polynesians, and different peoples like that. They'd be like, oh, these people never did nothing to us. They was part of this kingdom. All right. They was part of this kingdom. These are their tribes. All right. Read verse 7.
Verse 7. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold. The vessels being diverse one from another. And royal wine in abundance according to the state of the king.
So now we're not going to read the whole story. I'm going to shorten it up and I'm going to tell y'all the story, right? So now the king of Persia decided to have this big feast.
Could jump to 11.
All right, hold on. And in this feast, they was drinking. And when you read the whole chapter, you're going to find out they were drinking for like a whole week. Ooh. Then they decided to have another feast for a whole nother week and they was drunk out of their mind. And then the king decided, because somebody said, oh, I want to be blessed with the presence of your beautiful wife. So they said, bring Queen Vashti out here. And Queen Vashti was having her own feast. So she decided to defy the king and say, oh, I'm not going to come. All right. And when she did that, the king got upset. And then all his people said, listen, your woman is the queen. If she defy you, the king of the whole earth right now, everybody else women is going to do the same thing. So we telling you, you need to kick her out and find a new queen. Or kill her. So he decided, you know what? I'm going to kick her out. So he did it, divorced her, kicked her out of the kingdom. She wasn't a queen no more. She went right back to the hood. All right. Yeah. But then the next day he woke up and sobered up a little bit. He started missing his wife. Like, oh man, what happened? Y'all made me get rid of my wife. What am I going to do? So they gave him counsel and said, you know what? You should take the prettiest virgins out of every kingdom and bring them to you and then pick one of them to be your queen.
For the love of Ray J. That's where this comes from.
What you said?
For the love of Ray J.
For the love of Ray J. A reality show. Flavor of Love. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I ain't even gonna comment. Anyway, now you had our sister, a Benjamite sister, a Jamaican sister, right? Who was taken to be in this pageant. Well, I want to call it a beauty pageant. I'm just using modern terms, right? And go to chapter 2 real quick. Read verse 7.
The book of Esther, chapter 2, verse 7. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter,
Mm-hmm.
for she had neither father nor mother.
Now we just read about how you got the fatherless, the orphans, and all of that stuff. You have Mordecai, who he was a Jamaican. He was from the lineage of King Saul. All right, our first king was a Jamaican. Okay, now his cousin was an orphan, and he took her in as his own and raised her as if that was his daughter. Read on.
And the maid was fair and beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
whom
Mordecai.
Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So it came to pass, when the king's commandments and his decree was heard, and when many maids were gathered together unto Shushan, the palace, to the custody of Haggai.
So she was taken to be in this pageant. Read verse 9.
Verse 9. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification.
Mm-hmm.
With
Read verse
such-
10.
Verse 10. Esther had not shown her people nor her kindred.
So she had to hide her nationality. She couldn't tell nobody she was a Jew. All right. Now imagine if Jews were white, going into a kingdom ruled by East Indian people. Y'all ever seen East Indian people?
The people with the red dots.
Yeah.
You see how dark they are?
The movie we was just watching it, Mowgli.
Mongolian.
Yeah, Mowgli. It shows them like they're really, really
Right.
dark in that movie.
Now, can you imagine a white Jewish girl
Yeah.
going amongst them trying to hide her identity? Would that be
it would
possible?
look just like that white dude in that movie.
She would stick out like a sore thumb,
Yeah.
right? But now, if you take a nice Jamaican woman, which some of our Jamaican women identify themselves as Trinidadian, all right? And they look similar in skin color at least, would she be able to hide her nationality amongst them?
Yep.
Yes. Read on.
For Mordecai had charged her that she shall not show it. She shall not show it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court
Right.
of the woman's house.
So now what ended up happening was she had to hide her nationality, right? And as she was going through it, because it was like levels to the contest and all of that stuff, whatever, right? You had another man named Haman. Now Haman was an Edomite. He was a white dude. He was second in command next to the king. And he convinced the king to put a hit out on all of the Jews amongst his province. Mind you, he ruling all the way from India to Ethiopia. He ruled the known world. The majority of the world, he rules over it. So now he made a decree and said, any Jew living in my kingdom, you're going to get killed on these 2 dates. All right, so we're giving y'all time to prepare because we're letting you know we're going to kill y'all, period, right?
And the crazy thing was, we wasn't even allowed to fight back at this time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Were you allowed to leave before that time?
I remember this one.
Try to
Were we
escape
allowed
that
to
big
leave?
kingdom.
Before that time came?
It didn't say, but I'm pretty sure people was trying to haul butt out of there. But where was you going to go for the most part?
All the way to Africa.
He,
Like,
he ruled in Africa too.
I know, but I was saying even if you try to run all the way
Right.
that way, like,
You know, it was everywhere in his kingdom. You got to understand that. So
oh,
almost everywhere, because he ruled the known world, there was very few places where he ruled that. So it was pretty much nowhere to go. And they set these 2 dates and said, on these dates, we're going to have purge. And any Jew we see, we're going to kill you. Now, Mordecai convinced his cousin, who was the queen at that time, Esther, to speak to the king. But the king still don't know that she's a Jew. Go to chapter 7. And start from verse 3.
the book of Esther, chapter 7, verse 3. Then Esther, the queen, answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king. And if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. Continue.
Read on. So she's asking for the life of her people. She's saying, please spare the life of my people. And the king is thinking, like, spare the life of your people? What the heck going on? Read on.
For we are sold, and I and my people to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we have been sold for bondmen and bondwomen.
So she said, listen, if it was just a matter of us being slaves, read on.
I had held my tongue.
I would have held my tongue because we used to be slaves. You know what I'm saying? It was, listen, we go to slavery up. Here we go again. Right? Read on.
Although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Yeah.
Read on.
Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther, the queen, who is he, and where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so?
So now he's still confused because he's looking like, who's threatening your life? Who want to kill you and your people? He still ain't get it yet. That she's a Jew. Right?
You know what it is? You pass so many decrees and you're always in the court. It's a matter like that probably was like whatever.
A small matter.
He probably knows what she's trying to say, but don't want to believe it.
Right. Well, he about to believe it because watch what she gonna say. Read on.
And Esther said, the adversary.
The what?
The adversary.
The adversary, because he was an Edomite. And everybody know Edomites hate Jews. All right? Even back then, when the white man was still a nobody in the world, people knew, oh, the white man can't stand them though. Read on.
The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen.
Right. So now she identified her nationality to the king. And the king said, listen, I can't reverse the order that I did, but what I can do is make a new order where y'all able to fight back. And when those 2 days came, we fought back and we prevailed. All right.
It's like amending the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? They can't take away the Constitution.
Man, you need to read this. You need to read the embarrassment. Can't jump down.
Now I don't want to go too deep into stuff. Listen, when Quran comes, they can read that. We'll read that.
Never. That's the good part right there.
I was going to say this too, right? A good movie, because you know how we always have movie nights too. We need to watch The Purge.
The first Purge?
The first one and the second one.
You seen that?
You seen the second one?
Yeah.
I seen all.
All right.
The last one?
Understanding the Bible, you're going to look at it differently. Because what they, because
we saw it here.
All right, so somebody tell me what Bucky, tell me what The Purge is about, the movie.
Which one?
Just the concept of the Purge, period.
The chain of
the concept of the Purge is that the entire nation has one day to commit any crime, anything that is considered a crime in a known time, and it will be legal. You kill, murder, steal, rob, rape. We do all of that for 24 hours without any consequences.
All right, 12 hours.
The motive is like it actually works. Like people actually prosper. It's like you sacrifice a small percentage of the population, and then after that small percentage is eliminated, then the entire community will prosper from it.
Now, you was about to say something. What was you about to say?
So the other side that I was going to explain is what he was touching on. When you look into the whole chain of the movies of The Purge, it actually explains that it deals with population control. As we know, in today's day, they still have that written in stones as far as population control. And they utilize the Purge because the Purge is a way to supposedly purify people's soul, but in reality is a way to eliminate the 99%, knock it down a little bit more. Yeah. Right. So everybody that is the most vulnerable, those are the people that will be targeted. They have things like,
but now in the movies though, who was the main people they were targeting?
The hood.
The
The
hood.
hood.
So when-
Or what people?
Us.
Like our people.
When you look at the first purge, they wasn't purging enough, and what they did, they sent contractors, like pretty much all of them white
The
people,
white people.
and they
They
came
started.
in, and then they started killing everybody.
Right. So the last purge, because y'all seen the last purge, right?
The first purge.
No, it's
called
the
It's
first
called
purge. It's called the
Last
first
purge.
purge.
Explain
But it's the last purge in the
version of it.
Right. But you seen how they had the KKK dressed up and all of that stuff, right? Now, these people was going out and going strictly after us. And that's why I'm saying, this, when you read this, the book of Esther, that's what this was. They made a decree, not of lawlessness for 2 days, but they made a decree that everybody could go after these people. And that was the point that I wanted y'all to get from those movies. Was not necessarily the lawlessness and all of that, but the fact that people was using the lawlessness to go after one particular group of people.
And also in the decree that was made by the Persians, you feel what I'm saying? By King Darius, right? That was that.
Huh?
Darius.
You talking about
this king?
this decree?
This kid.
Not Darius, no.
That was the best.
That's
Xerxes. It's really a Xerxes, but that's the Greek version of how you say it. This is being translated from the Hebrew, so it's pronounced differently.
Yeah, that's why it's pronounced different. Because I'm
One
like,
thing I would say
it's
though, he
confusing.
did also say in the decree that they can take their spoils. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was inside the decree. So even the criminal aspect of the purge, that was also in there as well.
Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why the brother said to y'all earlier that it was the first purge,
Yeah.
as far as like what Purim represents. So now, in the movies, you notice that they was targeting the homeless, they was targeting defenseless people, and the people that wasn't able to fight back. And that's why when you read the decree later on in this book, dealing with Purim, we had to give gifts to one another on this feast day. It's a 2-day feast. We gave gifts to one another, but we also had to give gifts to the homeless. We had to feed the homeless. It was decreed for us to do that because those was the main people that was at risk when they made this decree to go after our people.
What date is for? Like, what's the date?
I think Purim is going to be in February. So I'm thinking like it's January already, but a month and like a few weeks from now, like close to 2 months from me, we gonna have Purim. All right. Now I do got a class on it on YouTube. Y'all can watch that too, so y'all can get ready for it. All right. Go to Matthews 24:7 real quick, and then we going. What time is it?
It's still early. I
It's
think.
still early.
8:43.
Okay. All right.
She
Normally-
asks over here it says Persians World Empire.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is it that you have a question about the Persians?
I did about the empire. When I say world empire, I'm talking about the known world at that time. I'm not talking about like the whole world. It's not saying that they ruled
it's the
whole
known world.
It was the known world. There was other parts in the world with places people had things going on, but nobody had an empire as big as theirs at that time. And if they would have kept going, they eventually would have conquered, the world. It's like the pinky and the brain. Every day he came up with an idea to try to take over the world, and that's everybody goal. But the whole time the Most High is saying, for a certain amount of time, you're going to have it. Then I'm going to take it away. And for a certain amount of time, you're going to have it. But in the end, my people Israel, they're going to have it forever. All right. Go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. Yaakov, read that, man.
Matthew 24, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
For nation shall rise against nation.
So what is a nation? A what?
It's a collective amount. It's a
Yeah,
collective amount. It's a collective amount of a culture.
it's the same people though. It's a race of people.
Yeah, like nationality.
Yeah, it's your nationality. That's what I was trying to get to. It's your nationality. It's a race of people. So read it again.
For nation shall rise against nation.
So it's saying one race of people in the last days is going to fight against another race of people. Read on.
And kingdom against kingdom.
And then you're going to have one empire like the Empire of America versus another empire like the Empire of Russia. Read on.
And there shall be famines and pestilence.
So now Jesus was prophesying that there was going to be one race versus another race, or races versus each other. That's race wars. All right. So that means that the same thing that we was just reading about with the Persians is going to happen again. All right. That's what y'all got to understand. That's why you, and no offense to anybody, whatever, but that's why I was getting on you about reading strong, being more manly. It's really dealing with your mentality right now. All right. But it's really preparing y'all. Because at the end of the day, if Jesus tell you there's going to be race wars, what do you think we should be doing?
Like, what he's trying to say is, what is basketball going to do for you in that time of day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, basketball going to give you some good stamina to be able to run. You know what I mean? But
you're gonna run. That's why you're gonna run.
Right.
Huh? Throw the ball at him.
For the what?
Throw the ball.
You gonna throw the ball at him? What the ball going to do when they come with an AK-47? Let me ask y'all a question. Somebody tell me about Dylan Roof. Who could tell me who is Dylan Roof?
A white man.
He said person niggas dick.
Eat him white.
A white man. They eat him.
Baby, I want to show this one if it's possible.
Dylan Roof is a white boy that came inside of a church and
killed.
started shooting. You know what I'm saying? What is it, South Carolina? Yeah. So,
Baby, are you?
Hold on. I want him to finish his point.
Yeah.
Go on.
Like he said, killed 9 people inside of a church. He came
What kind of church? Was it any church?
No, it was a black church.
Right. So you had a white boy by the name of Dylan Roof went inside of a black church and shot 9 people. All right. That's trying to start a race war.
This is a little bit difficult, so and hopefully you guys can hear it, and hopefully you guys can see it in the live.
With cell phones and on social media, but of course, that's not what creates hatred is being exposed with cell phones and on social media, but of course, that's not what created hate. It's just what captures it. Now, we want to give you a warning that there are some racial slurs that you're going to hear in this story, but we are only doing that to give people a real look at the rising state of hate in this country. We're going to kill all of you. Across America, racism and anger once hidden in the shadows, now pouring out into the light. In Santa Monica, a racist tirade over a parking space. A message from Muslims in a car in North Dakota. I'm going to kill everyone like Muslim. A black army veteran targeting and killing white police officers in Dallas. A landscaper abused in Los Angeles. Words of hate which seem to be banished, now brandished more and more often. The FBI says in 2017, hate crime shot up 17%. The motivation for nearly 60% of those, the government says, was race, ethnicity, or ancestry. Kevin Dunn's favorite aunt, Vicki Jones, had beaten cancer, but she could not survive hate. 67-year-old Jones and 69-year-old Marie Stoller shot dead while grocery shopping, targeted because of their skin color, police say. They were black, the alleged shooter white. A white witness armed with a gun told his son what the shooter said while fleeing.
He said, please don't shoot or I won't shoot you. He said that whites don't kill whites.
What do you think about what was said?
Yeah, this is real.
It hurts. It's sad. It's terrible. People have the right to just exist.
The suspect, police say, could have caused far more carnage.
Listen to this part.
Nelson says a parishioner saw him earlier at their church door.
He bangs on it, and pulls on it, and he backs up his hand on the gun. So whoever would have opened it would have possibly gotten shot and killed.
His church began locking its doors after white supremacist Dylan Roof entered this predominantly black church, massacring 9 people as they prayed. Ken Parker knows something about the hate that motivated Dylan Roof. A Navy veteran, Parker says he was out of work and without direction. He joined the Ku Klux Klan and later a neo-Nazi group, their biggest selling point, making him feel he was important, part of a bigger cause.
They were looking at it as like, we're going to have a race war one day, and
You hear that part?
the more people on our side, the better.
At the time,
That's it?
Barack Obama was president.
Look.
Some white supremacists touted the
This part.
He joined the Ku Klux Klan and later a neo-Nazi group, their biggest selling point, making him feel he was important, part of a
Listen to
bigger
this part
cause.
though that he
They were
says.
looking at it as like, we're going to have a race war one day, and the more people on our side, the better.
At the time, Barack
Now, they said the biggest selling point that the KKK and the neo-Nazis had was the ideology that there's going to be a race war.
One day.
One day there's going to be a race war, and us whites need
The
to
more
stick
and the side the
together.
better. Yeah.
You understand? That was their biggest point, to get people to join the KKK and the neo-Nazis. And I'm telling you that if you believe what this Bible say,
That's them even fulfilling the prophecy.
That's what I'm sending that to my phone. What's that, from YouTube?
Yeah, I got it on Facebook.
Oh, it's on Facebook? Okay.
Yeah, on my Facebook.
we'll send it to you.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you that if you believe what the Bible say, right, that is true. It is going to be a race war. And guess what? The last people you want to be around is them.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Isaiah chapter 13. We're just trying to the whole ideology is this. We need y'all to man up. Even though y'all young, you have to understand that according to the scriptures, when you reach the age of 12 years old, we had to start conditioning y'all to be men. That's what the Bible said. From the age of 12 years old, that was the time to start conditioning y'all to be men.
And my niece this year, while she was here, I used to have the bow and arrow. I had the short machetes. I had all the nice sharp things because I'm into that type of thing, right? My sister always was very skeptical. Oh, Jari, that's a little bit aggressive. She always saw it as, she didn't tell me nothing, but she looked at it like that. So when she go down south now for the holidays, she ended up getting my niece a set of bow and arrow and a shotgun that is a BB gun. Because she said, oh, all the kids over there, that's what they do. They do sports, they all have guns.
So you
real
see around
guns.
more white people was acceptable. And, oh, yeah, we could get guns. But when you're around your own people, guns is not good.
And it's still different. Her child might have it, y'all forbid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
her
y'all
plan with
forbid.
her game, her thing,
Right.
things go sour. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Read Isaiah 13 and 14 real
They have
quick.
the real guns. She have the fake guns.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14. And it shall be as the chase roll.
A chase roll is like a deer. You ever seen a deer when you driving and they get scared and they get shook up right? So it's saying in this last days, there's going to be somebody that they're going to be in the spotlight. It's going to be like, oh, you looking at me? Right? Read on.
Because I'm looking at you, but I ain't
And as a sheep that no man taketh up.
So now you're going to have that one sheep that no man want to take. Nobody want to be part of this person. This one person, everybody going to be like, yo, that's not mine. He ain't my people. Right? Read on.
They shall every man turn to his own people.
So everybody in the last days is going to do what?
Turn to their own people.
Turn to his own people. All right. The East Indian man going to be with his people. The Chinese man going to be with their people. Look how all these Chinese people been treating black women lately in their shops.
Exactly.
And let's be real.
King.
Because we know how some of our women could be, right? They probably in a sense I'm getting tired of them talking to me like that.
Right now?
Now they fighting, throwing chicken wings at them and everything.
See, y'all thought it was a game when the Society movie came out.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said, hurry up and buy.
Right now.
Hurry up and buy, yup.
Right now, no game. They really feel like that.
They really do. Because they fear us. And they don't want us, they want our money, but they don't want to deal with us.
Oh, man. Ooh.
All right. Read on.
He said move. Enough.
Shall every man turn to his own people and flee
everyone into his own land.
Everybody's going to go back to their own people and their own land in the last days. And what's going to happen? Read on.
Everyone that is found shall be thrust through.
But everybody that's found with that one group of people that nobody want to be attached to, if you with them, you're going to get killed with them. Read on.
And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Now, if you join to them in any form or fashion, you're going to die with them. And now here's the worst part. Read on.
Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes.
People are going to take their babies and spike their babies like footballs.
Like they did out.
I can't with these guys.
It's serious though.
No, because when you said that, I thought of the.
Let me ask you a question. But I know y'all looking like y'all can't believe that. Nah. But let me ask y'all a question. Did y'all know that they did that to our babies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all told us about when they threw the
They
babies
cut
off
the
bridge,
baby, yeah.
and they hung on
the
like,
pregnant woman
hung them.
upside down.
Yeah,
They took our babies, used them as alligator bait. They take pregnant woman, hung them upside down, sliced the belly off for the baby to come out and for them to stomp the baby dead in front of her face.
Yeah.
This is what they did to our people. And now the Bible is telling you the same thing going to happen to their people. And look, it's not even saying that we're going to do it. It's just saying that's what's going to happen to them. Because people going to say, yo, these people are destroying the earth. We don't even want their children to survive.
In the same way how we couldn't run away because of this, they're not going to be able to run away because of this
they
too.
got that leprosy. Read on.
And their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished.
And their wives going to be what?
Ravished.
That means their women going to be raped. That's not saying that we going to do it. We righteous men.
We don't do that.
We're not doing that.
There's
but in the
laws
last
against
days
that.
when race wars happen, do you think other people going to have mercy on them?
Nope.
Let me ask you a question.
The Arab men, Asian
Did
men.
white people get hanged during the Jim Crow era?
Nope.
Yes, they did. Any white people that took up for black people, they called them nigger lovers and they hung them too.
Yeah.
They call it white niggas.
Huh?
They say white nigger.
They called them what?
White nigger.
They called them white niggas. So guess what? If it happened that way with us, what do you think is going to happen when the shoes is reversed? Anybody who's showing sympathy towards them in that day and you caught with them, guess what? It don't matter who it is, they're going to look at it like you're one of them.
Yeah.
That's how it is. We have to be able to build ourselves up to the point where we in this day are able to survive long enough until Yahweh Shah come back.
That's right.
You understand
And the funny
that?
thing is that it's in our scriptures, but it don't mean that this is just like us. This is the whole world. Like they have taken advantage. Like if you go to India, they've done it there. If you go to Iraq, they've done it there. If you go to Africa, you see how they doing them in South Africa right now.
All of the time.
South Africa, they're like, hey,
what's that movie called? That movie is a race war. People think like, oh, that's Africans versus Africans. No, it's not. And Africa is a continent of different countries, different races, and different tribes. Just because they're all on the same continent don't mean they're the same.
Like how it happened in Haiti.
So when you see that, that's a race war.
Yeah.
That's tribal warfare. The Hutus versus the Tutsis.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes it's actually some of our people that's still over there being exterminated by the Hamites.
Like movie
that's
Tears
still
of the
over
Sun.
there. Like, yeah. We got a movie called Tears of the Sun, right? And the movie is talking about how the Jacobian dynasty, that's one group of Nigerians, wanted to eliminate the Igbo tribe. And this was based off a true story in the early 90s, right? Come to find out, the dude that they was trying to kill was a prince from the Igbo tribe, and the Igbo tribe is Israelites.
Wow.
So you had one group of black people killing another group of black people, not because of black on black crime, but because they're two different people.
Yeah.
And whenever they know it's us, because everybody keeps saying, I want to go back to Africa. Once they know who you are, they will not show you no sympathy. They sold us over here for a reason. Don't think you're going to go over there and then they're going to be cool with you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to be war everywhere. All right. So now when we bring this out and we want y'all to read stronger and try to pay attention and really get through these words, it's to build y'all up mentally. All right, and eventually even physically, so we could be able to survive this day until Yahweh Shah come back. I'm gonna read one more scripture. Go to 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 13.
Where's yours? Oh,
it's cool. Let the young man. You got it.
You do it. No,
the
it's
second
good.
book in here.
You do it. You do it.
I can't see the words.
What?
13. I can see the words.
Oh, you can't?
Verse.
Small.
Second address.
Yeah, pass it to Yaakov.
Chapter
13. You ain't got it on the phone because on the phone, even though they got the Apocrypha, you got 2nd Ezra?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. I gotta find out which Bible that is because my Bible don't got Ezra. It got everything else in the Apocrypha except for that book.
Wow.
Read 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 31.
Verse 31.
Uh-huh.
And one shall undertake to fight against another.
So you're gonna have one group of people fighting against another group of people in the last days. It's gonna be chaos everywhere. All right. All it takes is just one major event. Like somebody shoot a nuclear bomb at one major city, and that caused chaos everywhere. Watch. Law and order going to get dismantled. People going to be doing whatever they want to do. And guess what? You're going to be caught right in the middle. Right in the middle until Yahweh shall come back. One people fighting against another. Read on.
One city against another.
Uh-huh. Read on.
One place against another.
Uh-huh.
One people against another.
Once more again. Read on.
One realm against another.
Right. Because guess what? Yahweh shall going to come back. All right, and he's our ultimate defender. You understand? So now we talk about survival and all of that stuff, whatever, and all of that's good, but we got to remember and reverting back to what we talked about earlier, we got to put the Most High first. That's our ultimate defender, all right? Because you can have all of the guns in the world, you can have all of the strength and fighting skills in the world, but none of that means nothing in comparison to what Yahweh Shah could do for us. But a lot of people think that all you got to do is just have faith in Yahweh Shah, when even Yahweh Shah said, listen, how many swords do you got? Peter said, I got 2. He said, that's enough. Meaning there's things on our part that we have to do too.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? What you about to say, brother?
You can't go into a battlefield with no type of weapon. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High, although you got the spiritual weapon, you can't. It's almost like tempting the Most High. It's like jumping out of a plane without a parachute.
Be like, he's gonna catch me.
Save me. Save me. You know what I'm saying? Come on, brother. You serious?
Right. But we're saying that you gotta have this first. It's all about building your faith in Yahweh Shah first.
And to be honest with you, the reason why this is like your main weapon, really, is because when you're mentally ready for something, you become physically ready for something. And that deals with all the aspects. How when you do encounter somebody like a brother that he says he's an Israelite, so now you got to prove them. You know what I mean? Now you deal with them and things like that, and then you're able to tell whether that person really is honest and is really a brother, or is really an enemy trying to be a brother. You know what I mean?
Read on verse 32.
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass. And the sign shall happen when I shall shew thee before, and then shall my son be declared.
So now the Bible didn't say he gonna come before the great tribulation, and then you go because this is the deception of the Christian church. The deception of the Christian church is that you're gonna just disappear. A horn, a loud horn is going to blast. People going to disappear. Your clothes going to fall on the ground.
All
and then
folded and neatly.
Right, all folded and neat. And then whoever's still here is going to be going through all of this stuff while you're in heaven with Jesus. And then Jesus is going to come back a third time. And then the third time, you're going to be on the side of Jesus fighting them. That's not how it's going to happen.
It's not going to go down.
It said, when the time comes, read it again, 32.
Okay. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass.
So meaning these things is going to happen. Read on.
The sign shall happen when I show thee before, and then shall my son be declared.
It said, then shall my son be declared, meaning Christ's going to come back after those things happen. So when these things start happening, we going to be in the midst of this. We're going to have to find a way to say, yo, how are we going to survive until Yahweh Shah come back? You understand? Imagine being in the church full of a bunch of white folks and then the purge happened. You know, you see the purge movie where the old dude, he thought he was doing something noble for his daughter, so he sold himself to the white people so that they could purge privately in his house. And then those white people had the same company that went into his building and tried to kill his daughters and everybody in that building. So the money that they promised to give his daughters,
it was never gonna reach.
It was never gonna reach them anyway. You gonna mess around and be in a church full of white people. That day gonna happen. You gonna be like, oh, am I left behind? No, perfect timing.
You know, and what's so funny is that over here, like, part of it when you read it is that you need to know, like, your family, all of the men, your forefathers, they were all warrior men. Right. They wasn't soft men. The Levites, there was the priests. Everybody be putting the Levites with the little garments. All soft. Listen, the Levites were assassins in beautiful clothing.
Yeah. But I'm gonna hit y'all with something. Like, watch movies like Rosewood. Right?
That's Haitians.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Haitians don't play. But watch movies
they don't play.
like Rosewood, because this is what I'm talking about, right? I like how in the movie, anybody ever seen Rosewood before I start going into it? I heard it. All right, but y'all need to see it. See, now instead of watching Purge, that's what we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch Rosewood, right?
Rosewood had you in your feelings.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, my first time watching it, I was in the world too, and that jump raised a fire up in me, like, yo. But I'm gonna tell you what I liked about the movie, right? Sylvester, that was my dude.
Sylvester.
No, not Sylvester. No, the brother, he had the shotgun, and remember, he had walked up to the white dudes and was like, "Don't be whistling at my sister." Yeah. And they was like, "Oh, what you gonna do?" No, I ain't saying I'm gonna do anything. Just letting you know. Yo, listen. But that was I love that movie because it showed a time where like men was really men. Yeah. And I like how like when everything started popping off and it just being like a full blown race war,
they knew
these cats already had a plan. It was like, yo, take the kids, go to the wilderness, you know, hide over there.
That's
a
signature, not people.
Me and Big Baby gonna hold the house down. They had they had the shotguns and all of that stuff. They had an escape plan and everything.
What do we have?
They wasn't planning for war. They wasn't planning to go up to have an uprising against the government and all of that. They already knew that was impossible. They just had a plan for safety.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
They had a plan for safety and protecting their family and their household. Yeah. Y'all gonna be men soon. How you gonna have a girlfriend and you won't be able to protect her? Think about that. He said, yeah, but it ain't just about fighting because some of the wars is not physical wars.
Yeah.
Your wife might get a job where they racist as hell. How you going to counsel your wife to deal with that?
For right now, if you got a job, you're a black person in the United States.
Stop.
I'll tell her kiss their ass straight like that.
Yeah, I'll tell her kiss their ass. But sometimes you do gotta take a stand, but then there's other times when you gotta learn how to take low. So that's what I'm saying. You gotta have this first because it's not because you gotta know how to protect your wife physically, but then it's also the other aspects to it as well. You understand? One of the things, like you see that brother right there, All right, we come from the same school, and the thing that I love about that school was they really tried to condition us to be men. People say whatever they want about camps on Facebook, oh, camp's evil and all that stuff, but guess what? The camp I came from, they tried to condition us to be men, and they wasn't perfect either. They had faults and all of that stuff, but despite their imperfections, they still said, yo, we're going to train these men to be better than us. You understand? The name of the school is HYK, Hayya Sharala Kanats. We used to have it right there on William Street, across the street from where the Double Stadium is now, to that. All right?
Downtown North.
Yep, downtown North. And you can ask us, brother. We used to march out there on the streets, everything. And people used to respect us. People used to look like, yo, these cats, they're in order. You know what I mean? You know, one of the times, because I used to do the trooper program with the brother right here, and I used to think like, man, is this really gonna mean something? You know, but one of the times where I realized that the trooper program really meant something was when we was about to have that fight with the whole downtown door. You remember that? Sister got mad. Picked up this big old pole, tried to hit us with it, right? And we protected ourselves, but to everybody else, it looked like we was abusing the sister. So everybody, and I love my city North because the fact that they all stood up for her like that show you the mind frame of our people. So that's what made me love North, but it was misplaced. But everybody downtown, they surrounded us. Yo, what y'all doing? They was ready to fight us. Yo, we all lined up orderly. You know what I'm saying? Surrounded the teacher. Yo, we had
a plan.
Everybody had their staffs.
Everybody had their staffs. And then that's when I said, yo, it means something. Yeah. Like it means something. People look at it like, oh, yeah, it's for show. It's not for show. It really means something. You know? So that's the thing, man. We here to change our minds, keep y'all unspotted from the world. All right, because y'all young, man, the temptation is out there.
Keep y'all focused.
Trust and believe that. One of the biggest temptations is going to be the women. That's the biggest one.
That's a sacrifice.
Yeah, I know. That's why y'all be asking me for the oils. I already know. I peeped it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all like smelling good. Y'all go to school, smell good, whatever. I already know. Yeah, you know. But y'all got to be careful with that because y'all have to focus on getting yourselves right because our women is not right either. You understand? So if they got the brainwash of the enemy who wants to destroy us, and then they sleep with you and become one with you, what do you think they're going to do with you? They're going to destroy you. They're going to follow the brainwash that has been implanted in their minds by the enemy. You understand? So y'all got to get yourselves right, man. And that's why I'm kind of like stressing this on y'all. You know what I'm saying? It ain't to scare y'all and none of that stuff. The race wars is real, you know what I'm saying? But this ain't to scare y'all and nothing like that. Y'all can't have no fear. Go to 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7 for me, D.
You know what's so funny? They put it like this, right?
That's beautiful right there.
But you know that truly she probably was this color.
Right?
Talking about Aladdin, you know what I mean? Girlfriend.
It's on 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7.
Minus the flat hair. You know what I mean?
And then this will be the closing scripture right here.
For God have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind.
Right. So the Bible says God have not given us the spirit of fear. So this ain't no fear tactic to start an army and none of that stuff. Because when I do my little shows and I call it phone tap for a reason. Because the feds is listening to everything that we do. They watching everything, social media, all of that stuff. They is watching. Your cell phone is already tapped. You just don't know it. All right, but it's a thing called the Patriots Act. It was supposed to be over. It ain't over. It's still in effect.
Remember when they wanted it written down on the Israelite building over there, ISUPK? Remember they mentioned that they were watching 5 camps in Newark?
Yeah.
5 camps. How many camps do we know in Newark? Street ministry got caught. How many do you see out there?
I don't even know about.
That you know in Newark, New Jersey.
There's only about 5 camps out there.
Exactly my point.
Right, exactly, right. So it's only about 5 camps out here in North.
Yeah.
They said they're watching 5 camps in North New Jersey. But my point in bringing that up is we're not trying to raise an army to fight against the government. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that they watching everything that we saying and everything that we doing, whatever. And trust and believe they looking at everything, trying to make sure they can find dirt on us, to discredit us against the rest of the nation. You understand? But that ain't what we doing. We just strengthening ourselves spiritually, physically, and mentally to prepare ourselves for that day. So now read that scripture again.
For God have not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.
Right. So God haven't given us a spirit of fear. We're not going to fear nobody. All right. We're going to go out there. We're going to preach the word as it is written. All right. We're not going to spare not. We're not going to spare people's feelings. We're going to speak comfortably to our people as well when they need comfort. All right. But we're going to rebuke people when they need to be rebuked. And we're going to raise ourselves up, build up ourselves as men so we can continue to build up more men and more women and more families and then try to bring about the second coming of Christ. You understand? We can't gather the whole nation, but Christ will gather the whole nation. We just a small fraction of it. So we don't got that spirit of fear. And this is not a fear tactic to try to get y'all to take this more seriously. This is just me being a real older brother to y'all. You know what I mean? You know, so come to the Sabbath days. You understand? Take the Sabbath seriously. We know y'all got the sports and all of that stuff, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And stay involved in that. That's cool. You know what I mean? Listen, there's things that they got going on in this world that's charitable stuff. Like when you was doing the coaching with the kids and all of that stuff. We need people. We need our people to do stuff like that. You understand? So now the scriptures tell you it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath. You coaching a football team and keeping young brothers from being on the street and you got them playing. You know what? Most High bless you. You see what I'm saying? But let's just remember, keep the Most High first. All right. Let's try to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. And the more availability that we have for the Most High, the more we got dedicated to the Most High.
Who knows? Maybe some of y'all friends end up starting to practice like you guys is practicing. Like you really don't know. They'd be like, they'll start asking questions about, well, why you don't celebrate Christmas and why you don't, and that start conversations. It's not that you're gonna start like preaching in school or nothing like that, but it'll start dialogue, and then little you know, your boy will be like, you know what? Let me come.
That's actually important. Also, the point that she just pointed out. That's why y'all need to know how to explain exactly what y'all believe in, why y'all believe in it, and why y'all do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Especially being young men. You know what I'm saying? What you about to say?
I was about to say,
Con says
like when people like that's brainwashed with stuff that they don't know yet. When you say like you're an Israelite and stuff, they look at you like stupid, like it's funny and stuff. But I'm laughing in my head because like I know what's going to happen.
Cool. Go to Matthew 10:16.
But it's like I don't know, like I can't pull the scriptures out, right? Because I don't have it with me. So like I be trying to have proof and stuff. So I'm a hit you with something that's gonna help you out real quick, especially you, because I noticed you got the most enthusiasm and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I see it in you, and I'm gonna pull scripture for you that's gonna help you out with your basketball, with your school, with your friends, and all of that stuff. And this is something that I normally have to pull for young men. Read that.
Behold, I see.
Call it and read it out.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 16.
All right.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves.
So the Bible says you're like a sheep in the midst of wolves. Everybody outside of these walls, and I don't even want to just say outside of these walls because I don't want to make it like we perfect. But everybody outside of the truth is wolves. They are demons surrounding.
We're stuck in the matrix.
Right? Read on.
Be ye therefore wise as a serpent.
So the Bible says be wise as a serpent. When you look at the characteristics of a serpent could camouflage and blend in.
And she waits to the right moment to attack.
A serpent is blind, but it can see your body heat. If it feels you moving in this area, it will stop because it knows you're a threat and you have the ability to kill it, but it also have the ability to kill you. So it's going to stop and wait. And then when you move close enough where you can see your body heat, then it's going to plot against you.
And it goes.
This is what it means when it says be wise as a serpent. You got to be wise and think when is the right time to speak, when is the time not to speak. Every time, if somebody asks you what's your nationality, right? Every time is not the time to be like, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, because they might put you in the loony bin. They might be like, oh, he needs to go to the guidance counselor because he thinks he's white. You know what I'm saying? You know, so sometimes you might want to be like, I'm not going to say what my nationality is. Not that you're denying your nationality, but you're just being wise. But there's sometimes you're going to be wise enough to say, wait a minute. I am going to say it because this person and that person is looking, and I want them to see that I really believe in this. So this is the perfect time for me to say it. That's being wise as a serpent. Read it again.
But beware of men. Oh, my bad.
16.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Be ye therefore wise as a serpent, as serpents, and harmless as doves.
But now it says, be wise as a serpent, but be harmless as a dove. All right, meaning it's not wartime all of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at Bucky, right? And he's an informational dude. I could just tell. Like he's like, I don't want to actually hold the Bible because he's listening to every single thing that's being said, and then he's processing it in his mind. Like, okay, so is this right? Should I really believe in this or not? Okay, this makes sense. You know, listen, I see him. I know. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. But every time is not wartime. You feel me? So sometimes you're going to be wise as a serpent, but then you're also going to be what? Harmless as a dove. You understand? So
they look at somebody like her and be like, they don't break it there. She'll come and cut your whole throat out.
Right. So keep that scripture in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And when you feel like you can't explain something, but then people are asking you about stuff, then just tell them like, you know what? I can't explain everything, but if you come with me on Friday night or this particular day, I got somebody who could explain it a little bit more deeper. You know what I mean?
You said Matthew what?
10-16. So now he won't remember that. D, what's the difference between an Egyptian and an Israelite?
Leviticus 7.
You said Leviticus? He shows Leviticus. There you go. Exodus 11.
Always do that.
The scripture to Jesus Christ.
Revelation, Daniel 10, Revelation.
Revelation's what?
1. 8.
Close. 14. 1 and 14.
Damn,
So you're getting it.
You're getting it.
All right, one more. Gabriel the angel.
Galatians. Galatians 1-8.
There you go.
All right, so now you gotta do the other one too.
You know. I gotta think of something. I gotta think of something harder for him though. Yeah. I gotta think
because you're the oldest. You're the oldest. You're the oldest.
Right. So
you're the oldest out of the group.
All right. So saying that,
you know what? You're right.
So saying that, I'm in the class for the live stream at least. So I'm sorry if you know. We gotta end the live stream, man. I'm not gonna do 2 hour live streams. You know what I'm saying? But if y'all want more and you're in the Jersey area and you're in the North New Jersey area, just hit us up and we will welcome you in. I pray that the Most High blessed us with much knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and that these words wasn't my own words, but actually the words guided by the Holy Spirit in the name of the only begotten Son of Mashiach, Yahushua Amen. Right.
Shalom.
So y'all good? Nobody else?